But let's go ahead and move on to this topic number 2. We have this right here from the Hollywood Reporter. Sherlock Holmes TV universe in the works at HBO Max. This company right here, HBO Max. Yes, it says Robert Downey Jr. and Lionel Wigram will reteam to executive produce the franchise, which currently has 2 shows in the early development. Just want to let you know, guys, if you're watching this via live on the replay, there's a link to this article in the description box for you to read at your own leisure. And it goes on to say, Sherlock Holmes might be coming to television as the Warner Media backed streamer is in early development of not 1 but 2 scripted series based on the beloved detective stories by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. But what I want to know is what in the world happened to the sequels of the movies? Is there a quote in here that I can read?
Man,
No, I guess not. Hold on, let me see here. Let's see.
Didn't they just do a series with on Netflix?
Yeah, Enola Holmes with
Millie Bobby Brown. Dope.
I like that too.
Why take it somewhere else? Why not just grab her and make more?
That's a good question. I don't know. It says it's unclear if Downey will reprise his role as Sherlock, as both projects remain in the early development stages. Teams Downey, Susan Downey, and Amanda Burrow will also executive produce alongside the actor Wigram. Additional details, including the premise and how interconnected both potential series could be, are being kept under wraps. But both projects hail from Warner Brothers Television, whose feature film counterpart produced the Sherlock features. Team Downey remains under an overall deal with HBO and produces the premium cable network's Perry Mason update. So yeah, early development. Elliot, where do you want to see this go? Is this good news or bad news to you? And you can talk about anything as well as like Sherlock Holmes 3 and the Netflix thing that Larry brought up as well. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, no, Larry brings up a good point. I think that's a pretty good film franchise so far, and I enjoyed that first film, and I think they've already shot the second one. It's coming out later this year, I believe, Enola Holmes 2 or what have you. So yeah, I mean, Larry hit it right on the head, and it's very interesting to see that this fandom of Sherlock Holmes, because it's a very interesting franchise. I love the character. I love most iterations of the character, especially the one someone mentioned it, Strictly Starlight mentioned, which is fantastic on I think it was BBC. But yeah, Sherlock Holmes is a very interesting character, but in particularly with tying this to Robert Downey Jr., you said it, Brandon, it's been 10 years, I think 2011, so 11 years, I'm sorry, since we got the second one. So that's strange to me because I really enjoy those films. They're fun. I like the chemistry between Robert and Jude Law and the mystery aspect, and they're just fun films. And yeah, they do pretty damn well at the box office too.
Yeah, that's the first
one.
So
it's shocking that we haven't gotten a sequel for almost 10 plus years. So I don't know. Again, if we're staying in this world, like, I don't know if the fans are still there. They're still interested in this franchise, not the character, but just that particular iteration of the character. And I don't know who do you, if it's not Robert, who's going to spin the show off with? Because it was based on Robert and Jude Law, and I think Rachel McAdams was in the first one. So I don't even know what character, unless you say for the last 10 years, him and Rachel McAdams had a kid, and it's going to be another child version of, which I don't want that on, especially on HBO. It's a more mature network. So I don't know. I'm baffled. I'm being honest with you. I don't know why now and why so long. And I don't know. I feel like this is one of these stories that just gets a headline and just kind of gets forgotten about, if I'm being honest with you.
Real quick, man. Mike Snow, your image of your profile caught my attention. I'm just gonna play it safe and make the assumption that you actually know what the original meaning of that picture means, not the one that was bad, but that goes back a long time. So hopefully there won't be any issues. But Larry, how you feeling about this, man?
I love Enola Holmes. I thought that was a fantastic show. I think they should just roll forward with that. Sometimes I feel like they start to do too much and then everything gets watered down, or it gets disjointed and it gets confusing for the audience and for the fans. I mean, if they're somehow gonna bring that, like, this new series in with the one that's already on Netflix, that would be dope. Maybe
is this what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe they can, maybe they'll have an MCU tie-in. They can do some time traveling. They can bring back Robert Downey Jr.'s character as Iron Man in there, have him come face to face with with the Netflix Sherlock Holmes, and he could be like, you don't look anything like me. Anyways, it could be all fun. But my point is, I think they should just roll with Enola Holmes. I like her series. It is fun. It's exciting. It's filled with adventure. It has everything for everybody. It has that young lady in there, which is perfect for a leading lady role. It's got all the action and fighting and everything else for people that are a little bit older and want something that's more exciting and adventurous. That show was, I don't want to say that show was perfect, but it had a little bit of everything for everyone, and it was a lot of fun. I don't think we need a new Sherlock Holmes right now. I think they should just work on what they already have.
Agreed.
I don't want to see two Sherlocks like they have two Flashes or anything else. Just don't do it.
Right on, man. I definitely can agree there. This makes no sense to me. Because I mentioned earlier that the films made money a lot, and Robert Downey Jr. He's a draw, but he's not.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm tired of that conversation just about how movie stars don't exist anymore. As far as it critically goes, I mean, I showed Rotten Tomatoes, so this just doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't mind this if we got a Sherlock Holmes 3. Why are we not seeing a Sherlock Holmes 3? I just don't understand.
Man. Yeah,
I know Robert Downey. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the man wouldn't turn it down if it was offered to him. But let me just keep going in the article real quick.
Didn't they say he was executive producing the show though?
Mm-hmm.
Reps for HBO Max and Warner's declined comment. News of a possible Sherlock Holmes scripted TV universe should come as little surprise given the current state of streaming wars. Amid the competition for subscription dollars and eyeballs, media companies across the landscape are turning to well-known intellectual properties to build franchises that come with built-in audience to create a sense of urgency for viewers and diehard fans. HBO Max is already building out a new connected universe of DC Comics series for executive J.J. Abrams, James Gunn, and Suicide Squad spinoff Peacemaker. Matt Reeves launching Batman, offshoot centered on Colin Farrell's Penguin, and Casey Bloys, alleged streamer, is also developing multiple Game of Thrones series. Revivals of other well-known franchises include Sex and the City and Gossip Girl have also helped the platform bolster up. And Downey, of course, helped Marvel, Sherlock Holmes, record-breaking, blah, blah, blah.
As you was reading that, Brandon, just something that they mentioned in regards to just in Larry mentioned too, as far as building a universe, building a world. I wouldn't be surprised if because I know they were talking about a couple years ago that Robert, Jude Law, the director of the first two films, were getting something together for a third one. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do get that third Sherlock Holmes. They create a character or characters and get their own spinoff and just kind of build from that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's maybe potentially the route they're going for. Part 3. Get some interesting characters in that film and then have them do the spinoff series.
That'll work. That'll work. And to answer your question, Larry, yes, Robert Downey Jr. is producing this.
Yeah, it seems to me if he's executive producing, I feel like it's not even a question about whether it's going to be offered to him. I think it's just a matter of whether or not he wants to play Sherlock Holmes again.
Yeah,
right. Right.
To be perfectly honest with you, I would prefer, I know they can't probably do it because I'm sure it's a Netflix property, they own it, but I would really love if he just produced it and let the dude that is supposed to be Enola Holmes' brother, that's Sherlock in the Netflix series, play Sherlock Holmes in a third movie. That way, maybe you can mix the two in. Maybe you can blend the Enola Holmes series and have a second season leading into a movie that they then put out, a new Sherlock Holmes movie. So
I think the only thing that would be an issue, like you mentioned, there is with it being Netflix. I doubt that Netflix wants to give their characters to collaborate with Warner Brothers. If anything, they'll probably do a Enola Holmes movie on Netflix and then continue the series on the show. But we'll see, man.
Yeah,
that's one of these times where I know that people don't want to see all these different media entities all blended together in one. But this is one of those times where it really could be a benefit to the fans to have all this stuff in house, because it makes it so much easier to bring all these different properties, these different people together to make a one cohesive series and movie and universe in a sense. So
right on. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much. I do appreciate that. I do. And I do appreciate all the thumbs up in the comments in these in the chat as well, guys. Thank you so much. And if you are more curious and want to read more of this, again, there is a link to this article in the description box below for you to read at your own leisure. And so thank you again. And let me know what you think down below, because I'm very, very, very curious. But let's go ahead and move on to topic number 3.